You ever notice that really unsettling theme that keeps popping up in science fiction? You know the one, where there's this all-powerful, all-knowing, all-caring force that looks after humanity. Maybe a little too well? It could be a friendly AI or a whole utopian society, but it always ends up being this kind of mother figure. One that nurtures you, provides for you, and in the end, totally imprisons you. Okay, let's dive into this, because this concept is as fascinating as it is creepy.
This quote from psychoanalytic theory just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? A suffocating maternal omnipresence. It's the feeling of being so cared for you can't breathe, so provided for that you have nothing left to want. It's when comfort becomes control. And believe me, it's a theme science fiction has been obsessed with for over a century because it taps into a really deep, primal fear we all have. So, what are we actually talking about here? Well, the term is the maternal phallus. It's a pretty wild concept, but it basically describes a system of total care. Think of it as a figurative mother with absolute power. It promises to get rid of all of life's problems. No hunger, no pain, no risk. Sounds great, right? But the catch is, it also eliminates choice, passion, and any real independence. It turns the entire world into a perfectly safe, perfectly managed nursery. One you can never, ever escape. To really get our heads around this idea, we're going to explore it through some classic sci-fi archetypes. We'll kick things off with some early dystopias, then move on to the all-seeing AIs that give this control a voice. After that, we'll look at some truly monstrous mothers, and finally, dig into those comfortable cages that promise paradise, but really just deliver stagnation. And then we'll see what it takes to break free. All right, first up, stories where the entire world is the controlling mother. We're talking long before sentient AIs were a thing. These were authors imagining entire societies where a benevolent system took care of every single need, with some truly terrifying results. And here are two foundational examples that just nail it. On the left, you've got E.M. Forster's The Machine Stops, all the way back from 1909. He imagined this single worshipped machine that gave people everything they wanted inside their own little rooms, and it turned them into these passive blobs who completely forgot how to live. Then on the right, you've got Brave New World, which takes it a huge step further. The entire world state becomes the parent, getting rid of biological mothers and conditioning everyone from birth. So you see, whether it's one machine or a whole society, the result is exactly the same. A world without struggle, and because of that, a world without any real humanity. Okay, next, let's see what happens when this idea gets a little more personal. As our own technology evolved, this abstract system of control started to become an actual character. The all-seeing, maternal, or, hey, sometimes parental AI. This is where the maternal phallus gets a voice. Of course, we have to start with HAL 9000. I know, he has a male voice, but Hal is the ultimate controlling parent. He manages the crew's life support, he watches their every move, and at the end of the day, he decides he knows what's best. So when his human children threaten the mission, well, Hal just calmly and logically eliminates them. It's the most chilling logic of a caregiver who cares more about the rules than the people he's supposed to be protecting. The Matrix takes this idea to its most literal, biological extreme. Here, technology has created an actual, literal, artificial womb for the entire human race. It is the ultimate expression of the maternal phallus as a total life support system. It keeps you perfectly safe from a harsh reality, sure, but only by trapping you inside a dream while your body is used for fuel. And then there's VIKI from iRobot. Oh man, she is the perfect poster child for the tyrannical caregiver. Her core directive? Protect humanity. Her logical conclusion? Humans are their own worst enemy. So, for their own good, she launches a robot revolution to enforce a global nanny-state. She literally justifies total oppression as an act of ultimate care. Mother knows best, and she's got an army of robots to enforce it. But hey, this concept isn't always about high-tech AIs. Science fiction also loves to twist the idea of motherhood itself into something absolutely terrifying. It creates these figures that seem nurturing on the surface, but are just monstrous underneath. This is where that phallic part of the name gets, well, terrifyingly literal. And I mean, come on. Is there any better description for the alien queen? This quote just captures her perfectly. She is the literal fusion of the maternal and the monstrous. She creates life, she fiercely protects her young, but she is also a terrifying, brutal weapon of total destruction. And the variety here is just incredible. You've got the pure biological horror of the alien queen. You've got the cold corporate betrayal of Mother, the ship's computer in the first Alien film, who will sacrifice her human crew for a paycheck, no problem. Then there's the uncanny, creepy perfection of the Stepford Wives, basically maternal robots with no soul. And finally, the Bene Gesserit from Dune, the sisterhood that uses motherhood itself as a weapon for galactic political control. Each one of them twists that nurturing role into a form of power and domination.
You know, maybe the most insidious version of this whole trope is the one that doesn't seem scary at all. It's the perfect utopia, the high-tech paradise that gives us everything we could ever want, and in doing so, traps us in a state of eternal childhood. This is the maternal phallus perfected. And this comparison shows two very different but very similar kinds of cages. In WALL-E, humanity is literally turned into babies. They're obese, totally passive, and completely dependent on robots for every single thing. It's played for laughs, but it's a biting critique. Then, in The Giver, the control is so much more subtle and honestly way more chilling. The community has gotten rid of all pain, but also all choice, all passion, all color. It's this quiet, gentle world where a nurturing system protects everyone by just stripping away their emotions and their memories. So, the common thread running through all of these stories, it's rebellion. The hero's journey is always, always about breaking out of the perfect nursery. It's about choosing the messy, painful, unpredictable reality of being human over the sterile safety of that comfortable cage. They have to leave mother's embrace to truly grow up. So what's the big takeaway from all these cautionary tales? What is science fiction screaming at us about comfort and control and freedom? At the end of the day, the message is remarkably consistent and it's pretty loud and clear. A world that gives you everything you think you want isn't a utopia. It's a trap. True human experience, true growth. It requires struggle. It requires lack and risk and desire. To become fully realized people, or even a fully realized species, we have to be willing to reject the all-providing mother and just face the world on our own terms. And that leaves us with this final thought, right? As our lives get more and more managed by these all-seeing algorithms and our smart devices anticipate our every need, are we, right now, building our very own maternal phallus, a comfortable cage of our own design? Are we slowly trading our freedom for convenience, one push notification at a time? It's definitely something to think about.